Yes, you guys, welcome back to the player ratings video after our 4-1 total Tuchel football against Crystal Palace today. Now, I have to say, God knows, only the Lord above knows how this game was only 4-1 with the amount of opportunities we created, the chances we created, the way we just were tearing apart Crystal Palace for fun. Bare minimum, I was thinking at least 6-1 for it to be a very fair result today. But, the fact that I'm starting my intro like this tells you all you need to know about just how masterful our footballing performance was today. And for that reason, I'm going to do things a little bit different with my player ratings. Like normally I start from rating the goalkeeper first and going upwards, but this time I'm going to start with the attacking players first, working my way down. But of course, if you guys like today's video, if you're still gassed by that performance, gassed by that win, ecstatic by the way so many players shone tonight, then you guys, for this video today, you have to smash that like button. Help me get over 3,000 likes for today's video. And to start with things, of course, I'm going to start off by giving a score to Thomas Tuchel. Now, I feel like maybe Tuchel learned a little bit of a lesson after that performance against West Brom. If you're managing teams in the Bundesliga and, of course, Paris Saint-Germain in France, you can kind of get away with maybe not taking the opposition as serious just due to the quality of players that you have at your disposal. And, of course, against West Brom, a team that are 19th in the table, I can understand why Tuchel might be focusing more on the Porto game compared to that game beforehand. But today showed for me exactly why Tuchel is such a great manager, a world-class one. The intensity from the team from the first minute was maintained throughout the entire 90 minutes, and I think that the coach really played a part in the performance today from a tactical perspective. How we were tearing apart Palace down that right hand side, constantly stretching them, opening them, moving them from left to right, opening spaces between the lines time and time again. Tuchel knew exactly how this game was going to be, hence the lineup we saw starting the game today, and of course naturally they had beautiful combinations and relationships playing together. I thought Tuchel made the right call not starting Werner in a game like this, in a game where Palace are going to be defending deeper. There might not be as much fun to play between the lines, and I felt like a more technical player was needed in this game today. And of course, just how he managed the game from a tactical perspective, a great performance, incredible, everything spot on as usual. I'm going to score Thomas Tuchel a 9 out of 10. And now we start up front with Kai Havertz playing as our false 9, and this was easily one of Kai's best performances for us for this season. That first 45 minutes in particular was close to being an absolute masterclass. His entire performance throughout the entire 90 minutes was close to being on those upper levels, and the only thing that will just score him down is gonna be his inconsistent finishing. If his finishing matched the rest of his game, easily man of the match, easily best player by a country mile. But for the incredible movement, for his intelligence, his understanding of space, when to arrive, when to enter, when to time his arrivals in the books, the close control, just the all-round game today. The finishing was that final thing he needed to just take his performance to a different level, because he was getting in positions time and time again. So many amazing moments. That skill in particular, that Bergkamp skill in the first half, he was absolutely on fire in the first 25 minutes of this game. A goal and an assist, but for that reason, I'm going to score King Kai an 8.5 out of 10. We move on to Mason Mount, and he played such a key part in this team, with how we use our front three. Kai is the more offensive attacking guy who arrives inside the box. Pulisic has the ability to get past his man, to link up between the lines, and of course move into the box as well. To complete that balance, you need to have a guy who's part of the front three who can kind of act as that support role, as that playmaker for the team, and this is a role in which Mason Mount absolutely thrives in. His relationship with Hudson-Odoi and with all the academy guys he tends to play with is, I feel like they just have this connection, which is natural due to the amount of games that they play together growing up through the academy. But Mount today, Palace couldn't touch him. His movement in behind, his movement off the ball, his link-up play. I love how he plays the game at such a great speed. He's constantly one step ahead of everyone else on the field. It's either with like a nice little dummy to get past the man, how he times his use of acceleration to explode away from markers from standstill positions as well. And today he was at his creative best, producing 4 key passes today, playing that great cross to Zuma. That his set pieces, for me, easily one of the best set piece takers in the Premier League. Mount, his flexibility, his ability to play so many different positions too. I mean, as the game ended, he was playing in midfield alongside Kante. I've never really seen a player that can play so many different positions and roles to such a high level, but Mount is a special player for a reason, and for that reason, I'm going to score him an 8.5 out of 10. And now, we move on to Christian Pulisic, and he got 2 goals today. For me, one of his best performances for a while, and what was very promising about his game today is that in the last few games, we've seen that he's slowly getting back to his best. He's slowly playing more and more. I think this is like the 3rd time he's played in a row now under Thomas Tuchel, and I guess that was the confidence Pulisic needed to get back to his form. Wow, the goals he took today, the first goal in particular with the left foot shots from that assist from Kai Havertz. I think we saw a near identical goal last season against Crystal Palace as well. Great game today, and of course the finish in the end too. Throughout the entire game, he was really threatening to score from a position like this due to his constant willingness to attack the spaces inside the box. And he was also unlucky that he didn't get a hat-trick in this game today. I really thought that Pulisic was very impressive. I liked how he linked up with Kai and with Mason Mount. He wasn't losing the ball. He was shielding it quite well. He was defending from the front foot too. And on top of this, Pulisic played 4 key passes in the game today. I think playing that Werner role in a sense, I kind of feel like you get more threat using Pulisic in that position over Werner. For that reason, I'm going to score him a 9 out of 10. Now you guys, we move on to the midfield players, starting with Georginio, and wow, what an absolutely outstanding performance from Georginio. I mean, it really was. I was seeing Georgie doing things I haven't been seeing him do before. His use of the ball today was masterful. His balls over the top, his balls off the ground, they were played with great pace. They were played with good technique as well. Nice dip on the end of them as well. And he played that really crucial part today where he was kind of making the pre-assist for most of the important moments that happened in the game. Those important moments did lead towards goals, and Georginio absolutely dictated the midfield today. To be honest, I was kind of disappointed that he got subbed off in the end. And that really tells you everything you need to know about how well Georginio was today. On top of that, defensively, very good. The way we play, because the spaces are more congested and a lot closer, teammates are a lot closer to each other, I feel that is the best way to use Georginio because he doesn't really have the legs or the physicality to cover great distances very quickly. But in games like this today, where his combo plays with cover, his ambitious passing, his forward passing today, this was an outstanding performance, and I'm going to score him a 9 out of 10. We now move on to cover, and again, this was a great performance. One thing in particular I was absolutely loving about Cover today was just how willing he was to switch the play and speed the tempo. How many great balls was he finding Hudson-Odoi with down the opposite flank? How many long through balls was he finding? I've been criticizing Cover in the past few games because for his great industry and great plays and just the standard Cover ability that you get from him, his passing is that one thing that if he could master, could really elevate his entire game, man. Today felt like a slight tease and glimpse behind a potential Cover who's mastered that part of his game. Let's hope to see more consistency with this though, and for that reason, I'm going to be scoring Cover an 8 out of 10. We now move on to the wing backs, starting with Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Callum's going to get a very generous score for me today because with how we just completely nullified Crystal Palace, that right hand side was very key, and what Hudson was doing, his willingness to run in behind, to stretch the play as well, the great link up play time and time again down the right hand side. Of course, there were a few moments where some of the end product at times, and I know that end product is a very generalized statement, but I really mean it on a handful of occasions. Like there was a shot from the right hand side where it was actually a perfect opportunity to play across the goal. Could have found Kai Havertz, who knows what could have happened there. But, you know, Hudson-Odoi is finding himself in many positive positions and areas down that right-hand side. His link up with Mason Mount was spectacular. We've seen this time and time again. We first saw this against Spurs, and today I'm going to score Callum an 8 out of 10. And down the opposite flank with Ben Chilwell, yes, I think Ben, for me, it feels like he's really starting to win over Tuchel. He's playing more consistently now, and I feel like with Ben, you get more threat than you get with Alonso. I think, for me, I prefer to have Ben in the team because it actually allows the wides guy down the left-hand side to actually move inside the box. I think with Alonso, who prefers to drift infield to, you know, bring that aerial threat and the shooting threat as well, I feel like it can just hamper the left winger playing in the team. I think because the left side plays a more support role compared to the right-hand side, maybe he doesn't get enough credit because it's not as sexy, in my opinion. But, you know, let's not discredit the good work that Ben constantly puts in. I'm going to be scoring him a 7.5 out of 10. And with defense, we move on to Azpilicueta. Aspie today at his combative best. I liked his battle and tussle alongside Wilfried Zaha. And let's not forget that Aspie really plays his part in helping us make those overloads down the right-hand side. You know, when he steps into midfield, he can pass, he can find his man, and very solid as always. He'll get a 7 out of 10. We now move on to Kurt Zuma. The Kurt Zuma who made it 5 goals in the Premier League, the most goals scored by a centre-back throughout this entire season, and I felt that, you know, he's had a very good season. 1 or 2 games, but I mean, what player plays perfectly in every single game? It doesn't happen, you guys, not in the Premier League anymore. And I feel like it's kind of unlucky that he's not playing more consistently. I feel like, can we really afford to miss out on his threat that he brings from set pieces? You know, I don't think we can. I don't see anyone else scoring from Mason Mount set pieces inside the box. Him and Zuma have a very great relationship, and on top of that today I thought that Zuma was demonstrating just how good he is technically. This myth that he can't pass or is a liability is just so infactual. I don't know where to start with that, but today Kurt's gonna score an 8 out of 10. Moving on to Rudiger. Rudiger again, I thought his passing was very classy, very sexy today, a lot more ambitious, of course, constantly finding Hudson with great searching switch balls down that opposite flank. And I'm going to score Rudiger a 7 out of 10. Now we end things with the first 11 by moving to Edouard Mendy, and today he had absolutely nothing to do. Could he have done better for the goal that Palace scored? I really don't think so. Yeah, really wasn't much to do. I'm going to score him a 6.5 out of 10. And to end with the subs, you guys, I'm going to score all of them a 6.5 out of 10. I thought that when Kante came on, yeah, he was just trying to fit himself back into the game. Let's not forget that he was injured before, and with players returning back, they need to find their form in just, you know, a handful of games. So I thought he came on and a few times was playing the forward passes to start counter-attacks in that second half. Reece James, he came on and continue that same momentum that we saw with Hudson-Odoi down the right-hand side, and again, he could be unlucky to not have recorded an assist for himself. And of course, to end things with Ziyech, again, we saw another brief glimpse and example of that little link up between him and Kai. I feel like if we saw this more often, but on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Today, you guys can see from my energy, I'm absolutely ecstatic. I'm so gassed. This was an incredible performance. Bring on FC Porto. I'm UniFC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Peace.